Thank you.
Welcome to PluggedIn With Students episode 3. Today we are here with
Law student in London, Yaz. Hi, everyone.
So could you briefly give us an explanation of who you are?
So my name is Yaz. I'm about to start my first year at this university this September, in a couple of weeks.
So September 2020.
September 2020, the year where everything goes wrong. I'm about to embark on my legal journey. After about 5 years of wanting this and working towards it, I'm so glad to finally be here. So thank you so much for having me.
So let's get right into the nitty-gritty stuff. What's it like? Obviously, it's a bit different. I'm a second year of university. You're just starting. It's a little bit, not that much, a little bit different for you.
Yeah,
so,
ever so slightly.
So how are you exactly feeling towards going to uni this year?
I mean, if you told me on New Year's Eve that this would have happened, then I would have honestly thought you were insane. But after the whole palaver that happened with our A-level grades and how some students were really mistreated, how some of the grades were really, really based on favoritism, and there was nothing the students could do about it, I think that injustice just made me want to work harder, especially at my degree, and wanting to kind of bridge the gap between justice and injustice. And I know a lot of people turn around and say, oh my God, that's such an ambitious goal. But I guess it is the ambition that drives you and obviously drives your legal degree and your legal journey.
We get back to A-levels. What was that experience like? Because for me, for A-levels, you do the exam, you get your results. For you, you don't do any exams, you don't do anything, and you kind of get graded of what you've been done before. Did you get some backlash for it, or were you fine with your grades?
I did get some backlash for it, and let me just give you a little bit of backstory when it comes to my A-levels. So I started the first year of my A-levels, and unfortunately my mum and brother got very sick, so I ended up repeating the year. So I should actually be at university, but I took that year just to work harder at my A-levels, and during my A-levels I was still dealing with family members who were really sick. So obviously that meant that I always had to choose between studying and spending time with loved ones, because when you have family members who are obviously at that point in their life where it's a really a matter of life or death, you don't want to ever have any regrets. And even though I did work hard, I got 3 awards for all my subjects over the past 3 years. I still feel like I would have done much better on my exams, and I feel like because I joined my school quite later on, I did feel like there was some favoritism, especially in the whole grading system. So I wasn't happy with what I got. And however, I feel like there will be some flexibility when it comes to A-level grades, especially due to the circumstances, and it was a pandemic. Like, I think everyone will know this year of 2020, like, look what happened.
Did you get into your first
Yeah, I did.
uni?
So the night before results day, we kind of got an email saying that, well, it wasn't an email, it was like a live chat, and they kind of reassured us that we'll be okay.
From who?
Well, just the university, they had a live chat about it, just because I feel like loads of people were anxious. And I guess they had every reason to be anxious, because even though they gave us our grades, they changed the grades the next week.
Yeah, and it's a bit like, you don't really know what at least if you've done the exam, you can kind of, I done pretty well. I got at least an A. You guys literally no clue whatsoever to know, because you even know your past predicted grades, because you don't remember your mock grades. Who remembers doing their mock grades? Is you think it's just nothing, innit?
Yeah.
So now you're in university. What's it like? Do you have a freshers coming up or no?
Well, I mean, I was actually on the law group chat just a couple of minutes ago before I came on, and I think I don't speak just on my behalf, I speak on behalf of every student in this position. We need to know what's going on, just so we know what to do. I think it's quite unprofessional that the universities haven't given us some sort of timetable at this point, because I work 4 jobs and I'm due to start university in a week. Yeah, I'm due to start university in a week. And I don't know how I'm going to organise my work schedule. I don't know what I need to move around. And there's been no communication with us at all.
What university is this?
It's City University London.
University of London.
But also, on the other hand, I do understand that the restrictions have just changed again. It's been very hard on the universities this year, because everyone's grades may not be a true representation of what they're able. And on top of that, presume they're losing lots of funding because international students aren't coming.
Do you think it's going to be a bit different for your year with the abilities? Because now, obviously, the kids who may not have passed the test, who had decent predicted grades, are going to be getting to university. Or do you think it's still going to have that kind of balance? Or
I mean, I honestly can't speak on that behalf just yet because I haven't started, but I do feel like what I've always been told is that your degree is the subject that you've always wanted to explore, therefore you will do better in it. So I think it depends on the student and how much time and effort they put in to their degree. I mean, we talk about it over on one of the channels that I run, which is called Legally Supported. And when we have team meetings, we treat each other as family in a sense, because we wanted that unity between us. And something that comes up a lot is the amount of effort you put into your degree is how much you'll take away from it.
and do you think a degree is worth it anymore? How much would you pay for a degree these days? Because obviously everything's going to be online now. Everything's a lot different. You have access to facilities, kind of, because you shouldn't be on campus, but you're allowed on campus. You're in regulation. So $9,000 is the baseline. How much would you put on paying for your degree with everything that's happening?
After we got told that our university degree was going to be hybrid, I actually
Hybrid?
Well, that's the term that we're using. So hybrid is half online, half in person.
Okay.
I went to my mum and I was like, well, to do a degree on the Open University, you pay around, I believe it's £3,000-ish. Don't quote me on that.
I don't know. It's low. It's not a lot lower, yes.
It's quite lower. And I was like, well, why can't we pay that much? Why am I paying for pre-recorded lectures that aren't even live?
So how much would you if you had to put a price
if I had to put a price on it, I'd pay the same amount as people who pay for Open University pay. Okay, so because that's an online degree.
You cut it a substantial amount. So do you not think, because you still have access to the facilities and they have to pay all their staff and obviously get everything running for university, they should still get the $9,000? Or do you think because of the only thing changing is the online, that it should be downgraded?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on the university and how they're approaching it. Like, for example, I know some universities are using pre-recorded lectures from last year. In my opinion, if they've already recorded it, then they just have to upload it online. So they're only having to pay for the person who's uploading it online for that year. If the lectures are live, on the other hand, then students still get a sense of that experience. So then that's the only way I would say I would justify paying for it.
So but I guess if they're doing it live at the moment and they're adding something on, then taking something off.
And actually give students time to interact with the lecturer, you know?
What do you mean?
I guess, asking questions, being in that environment.
Okay.
But I just guess you can't put a price tag. You can't just say all universities must charge their students X amount if all universities are doing it differently.
So you think it's a bit difficult to kind of say which university, it's all down to the individual and what the decisions they're actually taking?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you excited for uni this year? Obviously, you've just started your path in university. Is it 3 or 4 year course?
Well, you actually asked me another question before. You told me, is it worth the degree?
Oh, sorry. Is it worth going back to that question?
Yeah, going back to that question quickly. I would say the only reason I'm doing a degree over an apprenticeship for law is because I need a degree for the path in law I want to take.
And what is that? What is your end goal?
Hopefully barrister or judge.
Okay, so big, high achievement. Doesn't mean they're unachievable.
Yeah, exactly. But I would rather sit the traditional route to get there.
Do you think you need to sit a traditional route?
There's no other way for me to get there.
So you can't do an apprenticeship?
I can do an apprenticeship, then do the bar course, but it just takes longer.
So you want it to me, I feel like university is an experience at the same time. Even though it's a bit different for your year, it's still an experience to go to uni. Because when you have an apprenticeship, you either work at home or you rent somewhere out. When you go to uni, you can still be like a kid, do stupid things, go out, do some stuff. So kind of just to finalize everything, if you could choose, would you have your lectures online or in person?
I can't choose until I sit it because I don't know what I'm expecting.
But how do you know what you're expecting in person if you've never been in person?
How do I know what I'm expecting online if I've never had anything online?
Exactly. So we're just trying to.
I don't know. Honestly, I wish I knew more. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay, I need to plan my next week. I don't know what I'm doing.
So it's just right now you're in like an unknown field on what's going on and what's going to happen
It's like
next.
a limbo situation, and I feel so sorry because everyone's in this. But I just feel bad. I have 4 jobs. I'm a tutor for English. I'm a tutor for Persian. I work for a cancer care company. And
Persian?
Yes.
The language?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, carry on.
Yeah. I work for a cancer care company, and I'm starting a little project as well. So
you need to know what you're doing to plan for next week. You don't really know.
I'm so organized. Like, my pages are empty. I don't know what to put in.
So let's say second finalization, universities, what's going on? And we can make that the title. Universities, what's going on? Nobody knows what's happening. You need to inform us. And why are you charging us the same amount when you can get the same thing from an open university?
Exactly. But I mean, I guess the only reason I'm not changing my degree from my current university to the open university is because as bad as it sounds, I like the label of my university, and I would
it makes sense.
Think that in a couple of years I will be on campus. When that will be, I don't know, but
it does make sense. Obviously, if you're applying for something, if they see the Open University versus University of London, it's like you revised at home, she went to actual university. As much as you don't want to admit names matter, they kind of do matter. That's why Oxford wouldn't be, Cambridge wouldn't be what they are if names didn't matter.
Exactly.
So yeah. So thank you for coming on
Thank you
podcast.
so much for having me.
If you just want to end it saying, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'm plugged in.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'm plugged in.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.